Hi and welcome back to the channel. In this video I'm going to be doing a combined 11 for the Manchester City versus Arsenal game that's playing tomorrow at the Etihad. So the way in which I'm going to do this combined 11, I'm going to be basing it off of players who are actually fit and ready for tomorrow's game, or rather available for tomorrow's game. Another thing I'm going to be looking at is the performance of a player and their contribution towards the team throughout the season. So yeah, let's get started. In at number one, we've got Ederson for Man City versus David Raya for Arsenal. And if you're asking me, I don't rate either keeper, if I'm being honest. I mean, Ederson is very good with his feet, so I can trust his kicking, but his shot-stopping ability, it's not the best, but he's definitely better than David Raya, if you're asking me. Maybe Raya might be better at saving penalties, but just out-and-out shot-stopping, neither keeper do it for me, but I'm going to have to go with Ederson for Man City here. And then when we go to the right-back position, we've got Ben White for Arsenal. It would usually be Ben White versus Kyle Walker, but due to him being injured and not being available for tomorrow's game, it's going to have to be Ben White versus Rico Lewis, the young right back from Man City. I have to be fair here. I mean, Lewis he looks like he's got potential to be a top right back in the future. But as we speak, Ben White is having a very, very, very good season for Arsenal. So for me, Ben White goes into the right back position. We're then going to move to the centre back positions, and right centre back, I would have gone with John Stones, no questions asked, but Stones is injured and he's also going to miss the Arsenal game tomorrow. So for me, actually, no. I would have preferred the partnership of John Stones and William Saliba at centre back in terms of this combined 11. But due to Stones being out injured, Ruben Diaz has been injured. He's been in and out of the City squad throughout the season, so he's not going to make it into the partnership for me. Akanji, he's quick, but he's not that good of a centre-back, if we're being honest. And then, which leaves the two Arsenal defenders, Gabriel Magalhaes as well as William Saliba. So for me, both of them definitely get in there. So we're now going to move over to left back. We've got Zinchenko for Arsenal versus, what's this guy's name for City? Nathan Ake. And if you're asking me, I don't rate Zinchenko, man. I really don't rate him. Also, this season has been in and out of the Arsenal squad. But if you're asking me who I'd go with Nathan Ake over Zinchenko. To be fair, I don't rate either. But yeah, I'd definitely go with a back four of Ben White, Saliba, Gabriel, and at left back Nathan Ake. And then moving it on to midfield, when it comes to the midfield, this is a tough one because both sides have got some world-class talents right there. But for me, without a doubt, the first name that has to be included in this midfield is what for me I consider to be the best DM or defensive midfielder in the whole world, and that's Rodri. Rodri is the first name in midfield that I'm going to pick. And then the second name that I'm going to pick in this in midfield is Declan Rice. He has been very, very influential for Arsenal, and he's been very good. He's coming up with goals. You see him influencing the way in which Arsenal are playing. He's such a good player, man. He's such a good player. So already the midfield, I'm going to go with the midfield three, but I've already filled two slots with Rodri and Declan Rice. Now that leaves one more slot in midfield. So for me, it's either going to go to Kevin De Bruyne or Martin Odegaard. So I can understand both arguments for both players rather, because both of them playing well this season. Well, in terms of De Bruyne, he's been injured for most of the season, but we saw him after Jan when he came back from his injury. He was playing very well. Like, he was just coming up with assists and goals and assists week in, week out. But towards just before the international break, he was starting to fade out a bit. Like, he wasn't really playing well. I remember even the game against Liverpool at Anfield. Pep had to drop him. He had to replace him in a big game, which could potentially be a title decider. Pep decided, you know what, De Bruyne is not being influential towards us as a team, so he replaced him, and he brought on Mateo Kovacic. So for me, when I look at that aspect and I look at someone like Martin Odegaard, the Arsenal captain, by the way, Arsenal are at the top of the league as we speak. So you got to put some respect on Odegaard. He's played a big part in that happening. He's been a leader, he's been a captain, and he's driven his team forward when they've needed him this season. So if you're asking me who I'd go with, and I'm not saying he's the better player, but I'm saying who has been more important, or rather who has had a bigger and better impact on his team this season. For me, I'm going with Martin Odegaard. I know it sounds crazy. I know people are going to say this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. I know. De Bruyne for me is the better player. He is. But if you're asking me who's been more influential in his team this season, I'm going with Martin Odegaard over Kevin De Bruyne. So my midfield three is Rodri, Rice, and Odegaard. So it's a very good midfield. So we then move over to the front three positions. And I know some people will already be asking me, how come Phil Foden is not in the conversation for the midfield three? How is he not there? So what I've looked at so far this season is Foden has been playing a lot, either as a right winger for City or in the 10. So I could have easily slotted Foden in the in the midfield three along with Rodri and Rice, but I felt because he's played both in the wing and in midfield, he could qualify for either side. So I'm going to have him in my front three. So he's the first player I'm going to play. So I obviously can't put Foden on the right side because the right wing position, we all know who that goes to. It goes to none other than Bukayo Saka. Arsenal star boy, he's been fantastic this season. Well, to be fair, the past month he's been good, but a month or two prior to that period from I think November and December, he wasn't really good. If anything, he was quite poor for Arsenal. But even though he was quite poor, he was still coming up with goals and assists throughout the campaign. So for me, Saka has to be in the combined 11. So Saka's on the right wing, Foden's on the left wing, and then up front, it's either Kai Havertz or what you call the guy that's not human, the cyborg, the robot, whatever you want to call him, Erling Haaland. And if you're asking me who I'd go with between Havertz and Haaland, come on guys, Erling wins. So it's a front three of Saka on the right, Foden on the left, and Haaland through the middle to complete the combined 11. So yeah, just to recap for those who maybe missed a player or two, my combined 11 for the Man City versus Arsenal game tomorrow is going to be Ederson in goal, Ben White at right back, Saliba and Gabriel at centre back, as well as Nathan Ake at left back. And then when you go into the midfield three, we've got Rodri, we've got Rice, as well as Martin Odegaard. No KDB. And then when we move to the front three, we've got Saka at the right, Foden on the left, and Erling Haaland through the middle. So yeah, that's my combined 11 for tomorrow's game between City and Arsenal. One other thing I'd like to cover is my prediction. Yesterday when I did the weekend preview, for those who haven't watched, take the video out after this video if you haven't watched that one already. I did predict Arsenal and Man City to draw 2-2 tomorrow. But I don't know, man. There's this thing in me that's telling me that Arsenal are actually going to win tomorrow. Like, I genuinely don't see Arsenal losing tomorrow. And I know that sounds ludicrous because they're going to the home of the champions. But I genuinely feel there's something in this Arsenal side that's brewing. And I feel like they're going to win tomorrow. They're going to shock people. So for me, I'm going to change my prediction from a 2-2 draw to a 2-1 win for Arsenal. So I'm predicting Arsenal to beat City at the Etihad tomorrow, 2-1. That's my score prediction. And yeah, man, I just feel like Arsenal will have too much for Man City. Like, City haven't looked, if we're being honest, City haven't looked the same this season. They haven't looked like the dominant and powerful City that just destroys everybody. I mean, and I saw them like literally 3-4 weeks ago when they went to Anfield and they just got absolutely dominated all over the pitch by Liverpool. And if I'm being honest, I can see it happening again tomorrow. Even though it's at the Etihad, I can literally see Arsenal. Maybe I'm being naive, I don't know. But I genuinely can see City losing tomorrow to Arsenal. So, yeah, those are my thoughts on tomorrow's game, and that's my combined 11. Let me know what you thought about my combined 11. Are there any players you feel I left out or that should have been in the 11? Or is there someone that I included that you feel shouldn't have been in the 11? Let me know in the comments. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on the notification bell. Like the video. Share the video and all that good stuff. And yeah, I'll see you soon.